YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with another 7-round NFL mock draft. This one is for the Indianapolis Colts. We're almost through all the teams. We're getting there. Then after that, we got position rankings to do, plenty more NFL draft content, updated mock drafts. I had a recent updated one. And then we're going to be live during the NFL draft as well, so I hope you all can join us for that. It'll be a lot of fun. First round is on April 25th. The first round actually starts at 7 p.m. Central. We'll be live at 6:30, a little bit before, and then during the draft we'll have live predictions when everyone's on the clock, reactions. It's going to be a lot of fun, so hopefully you can join us for that. Subscriber goals at 20K. Support's been great, just over 15K recently. That's awesome. And then the like button, notification button, those will be much appreciated. Help us out a lot. Moving on to the Colts. Can go multiple different directions here. They don't have a bunch of really glaring needs, it's funny because their defense on paper last year looked like one of the worst in football. Ended up being pretty darn good, or big reason why they had so much success. But they want to make sure it's kind of complete when they have the opportunity to do so here with a bunch of picks. But in the first round, I have them going receiver. I have them going offense because I definitely think they need another receiver. It's amazing what T.Y. Hilton's able to do when everyone's ready for what's going to happen too. He's really was the only, I don't want to say only receiver, but by far their best receiver. Everyone has to game plan for him, and he still dominates. I think he's underrated because I really think he's one of the better receivers in football. But they need another guy. I mean, how much better would that be if you get a guy like A.J. Brown, like can play in the slot, can play outside, insane after the catch, the best in this draft class after this catch. What else is there to say here? I think he would fit. I think he would fit in with the Colts right away. Him and T.Y. Hilton. I know they got Funchess as an outside, just an outside guy, but 1-year deal. So you need guys for the future. Deion Kane, maybe he can step up too. So, but I like A.J. Brown a lot. There's a lot to like about him, and it just takes this offense to another level here. Moving on to, they got 2 second-round picks, one that's very early, very impressive, and I have them going Jeffrey Simmons. He could go first round still because he's a top 10 talent, maybe at worst, maybe he's a top 5 talent, but obviously the somewhat recent ACL tear drops him down. It's tough, people ask me where would I take him. That's very tough because he is a top 10 talent, but in my eyes, having a guy that's not going to make a huge impact right away because of the injury. But the Colts don't have a whole bunch of huge needs. They could use some things. They need a corner. We'll get to that in a little bit. I kind of just don't like where they sit here for the corner just yet. In the first round's a possibility, but a guy like A.J. Brown or N'Keal Harry, whoever's there, will be higher on my board than any corner. But here in the second round, I think the Colts can afford to do this with Jeffrey Simmons. And when he comes back, you expect him to be a big-time player. But you're not in a hurry to get him back because you have some defensive tackles that stepped up last year. So this pick makes a lot of sense. If he's there, the Colts are a team that can afford to do it. They're going to be good for a while. Maybe they're not as good as they were last year. There's some people out there that expect them to take the next step. Maybe they're somewhere around let's just say they're somewhere around the similar level. That's okay because they still have so much time. They have so much, young talent on that team. So I think they can afford to do something like that for this reason. Next pick, there's the corner, Trayvon Mullen. It sounds like he's starting to slide a little bit. I guess that's just because the other talent, like I said, I had receivers ranked before even my first corner. So maybe it's just because the other talent, other defensive talent, offensive talent. So the corners maybe getting pushed back, but there's a lot to like about Trayvon Mullen. Very athletic, sticks to receivers. You see him be a playmaker, big reason why Clemson's defense was so good. So I'd be shocked if he got out of the second round, even though some people have him dropping a little bit. But if he's there with the later Colts pick, I would expect them to get a guy like this here in the second round. I think he can start right away. They have a list of corners that stepped up and played for them last year. They just don't have that, number one corner, and that's what they need. So honestly, corner might be their biggest need going in. Maybe receiver, but it's, you don't have to, and the Colts know this. They drafted very well. You don't have to draft based off need. Like I said, maybe it's a little bit of a reach for the corner with that first pick, unless somehow Greedy Williams is there. Maybe they really like Byron Murphy. I probably prefer Baker for them over Murphy, but they're in a position to go best player available, and I think they will do it as they should. Moving on to their next draft pick here, third round, Riley Ridley, another receiver, I know, and that might be shocking. Maybe they don't actually do this. But Riley Ridley, I like a lot for the Colts, and I think he's he could go second, probably early third, but again, grade A draft, that's somewhat realistic here. I just really like Ridley on the Colts. T.Y. Hilton plays in the slot, plays outside. A.J. Brown plays both. He played a lot in the slot, and he's a mismatch in the slot too. He dominates those defenders that are covering him. And then Riley Ridley, who's going to be an outside guy, excellent blocker. But what's the thing to me, in my opinion? I know some people are a little higher on Ridley than I am, but I still like him. And when I watch him, the thing that stands out the most to me, not even watching him, when watching other corners that went against him, is his ability to go against, the press. Guys jam at the line. Like, he has tremendous strength. He can throw him right off him. It doesn't really faze him. And you look at the division, and the Colts really don't have that type of guy, honestly. Funch is a big-body guy. I'm not super high on him, and again, it's only the one-year deal. You look at the rest of the division, you got Jalen Ramsey, excellent in press, really can do it all. He's, somewhat of a problem, and you expect the Jags to be, competing this year. And the Titans, they use man a lot. They're very good at pressing. They got quite a few corners that do it. So I think Riley Ridley, makes sense on the Colts team. Let's see if they do it. And again, not a bunch of huge needs. They could use receivers, so why not take 2 within the first 3 rounds? That's kind of the route I would go if you got the opportunity. Next pick, David Long, I think is a fit here. He can play opposite of Darius Leonard. I think he fits that opposite spot there, strong side. So Long I like a lot here in the 4th round. He's moving up boards too. So I think it's pretty firm that he's probably a 4th round player. And you can move around. You can move him around, do different things. West Virginia had a different style defense. Sometimes they had 2 linebackers back there, so he's capable of doing multiple different things. Pretty rangy too, instinctive. So the Colts will like him. Maybe they get another, somewhat sleeper linebacker that ends up being, pretty dominant like Darius Leonard last year. So David Long can fit in there opposite of him. Maybe they don't start him right away, but near future. Next pick, I got them going Marvell Tell, the safety from USC. Interesting. This is interesting what I got going for them with this pick and the next pick, because they're fine with their 2 starting safeties, and you're not guaranteed to get a starter here in the 4th round. You got to expect to get maybe a depth guy, but a guy that can play right away. I like Tell. I kind of been higher on him than maybe other people. But he played more of a free safety, which I know Hooker's very good, and they like him a lot. He did, come in and out of games last year, was hurt, missed some games. So, maybe you're just playing it safe. You're not a free safety. But, NFL teams believe that Marvell Tell can actually play corner too. And you can see it in his game. He's not super flashy. He's just almost like a lockdown safety, which, I don't really use that. Nobody really uses the lockdown safety term a lot. But he just doesn't let big plays happen. He's very sound. He's just not going to get pick sixes or anything, but very solid safety. I think he could be a physical corner too if they need him to be. And then the next pick, like I mentioned, is interesting. You go another safety. I like Zedrick Woods a lot for them. Now he's going to be your strong safety. He's going to compete with Clayton Gathers here. And another guy that I've seen line up in the slot and press pretty well and run with slot receivers, tight ends downfield. So, and he doesn't miss tackles really too. And he's the fastest player in the draft. So, more and more I talk about Zedrick Woods, sounds like he should go earlier than pick 5. But I think this is kind of his range, and I think it's a good fit, and it's definitely somebody they can use here. So even if Tell and Woods really weren't starting, maybe it's Hooker and Gathers, they can be used in different ways, part of a rotation. If you need a guy in the slot, if you need another guy at corner, they can be used in multiple ways. So you're definitely getting use out of them right away here. Moving on to the next pick, Deshaun Davis, another sleeper guy. Not enough talk. He was a tackling machine, very good stopping the run. Pretty much at this point, there'll be depth at middle linebacker. But again, upside here. People aren't talking about him enough. Like I said, pretty instinctive guy, flies around with the ball and stopping the run game really. So I guess everyone's looking for the linebackers that can cover these days, and that's why those guys are going earlier. So, but more of an inside linebacker here. And then their last pick, another running back, Karen Higdon from Michigan. I think even though they have a list of running backs that can play, Hines is more used as, kind of a hybrid, more of a receiver. And I like Marlon Mack a lot. He's your starting running back. But I think they're looking for that guy for the short yardage, to bust through a hole, for that extra yard, but it's no risk here down in the 7th round. So I think they're bringing in Jay Ajayi possibly. So they're looking for a guy like that. Maybe they give the ball just a few times a game. So Higdon can be that guy, and they already pretty much filled their needs at this point. So why not? So Pretty good haul there for the Colts. A lot of picks, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. I really liked that they got 2 second-round picks. That's big time, getting that from the Jets last year. And they had the best draft last year, too. Looking at them, the Browns, top draft classes, see if they can do it again. But, yeah, that's going to do it for the Colts mock draft. Let me know your guys' thoughts. We're going to be live during the NFL draft. We're going to have a couple live streams before the draft. Plenty more NFL draft content, too. A lot going on here at the Goat House. Hopefully you can join us for all that. And we're going to get through the rest of these 7-round mocks, too, very soon. But that's going to do it. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Goodbye.